I'm just now getting into some of the seasonal weapons, and the first one that I want to cover is this one right here, Blood Feud. I think that there's special things about it, and with the rolls, there are some things to think about. I view it as a mini Huckleberry. Strong resemblance from the looks all the way down to the sight. And Blood Feud, to me, is one of the seasonal weapons that makes the best use out of the origin trait. It's got some very, very complete rolls, and there are some things for you to consider if they do drop or you decide to craft it. But before we get into it, if you're looking for a new gaming PC, look no further than Apex Gaming PCs. You'll be getting a lifetime labor warranty, they ship worldwide, 24/7 customer support, 1-year standard parts replacement warranty, and more. And if you don't have it all up front, that's okay, they do offer flexible financing installment plans. I have 3 tiers in my PC line, Cool, Cooler, and Coolest. There's a link down below right at the top of the description. Go check it out, and don't forget you can save up to $250 with code CoolGuy. Blood Oath is a 720 RPM stasis SMG. These have been pretty good historically, with the right roll, of course. The archetype out of the gate has some flaws. That shows up in the base stats. 11 stability, 21 reload, 30 aim assist. This is all in line. These are pretty much how these things operate. You get it from the seasonal activities, be a rotating weapon, buried, you can focus it, and with 5 red borders, you can get the pattern. These will be dropping for you at some point. And with these red border weapons and seasonal weapons, I've noticed that sometimes it just happens. Like I had Austringer in like a week. The red borders kept falling over and over, only that weapon. But some other ones like Drang and Mida, not so much. It's all RNG. With the archetype itself, the stats being poor, I do believe that the perks more than make up for it. Now, Borrowed Time, it's regarded as one of the top 750s for PvP. There's the Ikelos for PvE. There's some good ones. Again, if you can get the right roll. Like, I never got a good Borrowed Time, but Blood Feud really intrigues me. It's got my attention. Here's why. First, the origin trait right hook. Dealing melee damage gives this weapon increased target acquisition and range for a short period, and dealing damage again extends the effect. So this perk is the real deal. Here's a look at 26 stability after a right hook melee. So it is all over the place. I'm a controller player. The target acquisition part is landing. It's vacuuming headshots. It feels great. Even though it's all over the place, it's still finding the crit area, and also has increased range on top of it. So when you look at these pirate weapons, that's what I call them, landing a melee for the right hook trait, Blood Feud is one of the ones that makes sense. There's also the shotgun and the sidearm. Those are gonna be covered at a later date, but I'm gonna start with the perks and show you what it's capable of with some things to think about. One of the roles that I wanted to try, I got, and it's one that you've been seeing, it's Ambitious Assassin Swashbuckler. This was on my personal radar because they just buffed Ambitious Assassin. And Swashbuckler, we got a good damage perk with the origin trait on the arc subclasses, putting some things together. It's very complete. If you haven't been using like Liar's Handshake or doing some Titan Warlock melee builds with Arc, they're fun, they're so good. But on Titan here, I have Knockout for the increased range. Melee Final Blows give Swash ×5. We got the Origin trait on the melee hits. And on Hunter, you have Deadly Reach, you have Ophidians on Warlock, whatever it is. So getting this thing more damage ×5. Amplified grants increased handling and movement speed, so it feels snappier. There's a fragment called Spark of Frequency, so melee hits greatly increase reload speed for a short duration. And some of the footage I have it on, some don't, but this footage right here does have it on. All of this together, what's really cool about this weapon, you get that melee final blow. It's getting more damage with Swashbuckler ×5. It's getting more range because of the origin trait. Getting better target acquisition because of the origin trait. You get 2, 3, 4 kills. Since you got the melee, you also have Spark of Frequency for the fast reload. And with the updated Ambitious Assassin, you're getting 50, 60 rounds. Using that magazine to getting 3, 4, 5, 6 kills again. Landing a melee when you can. With the target acquisition, the range, the 33% more damage. Mow through them again. It's been great. Really good damage loop here with this thing. It's fun. So when you look at the perks, Swashbuckler really sticks out just overall because of that origin trait. And Ambitious Assassin gives me that somewhat Huckleberry vibe, but to be clear, Huckleberry, it's an exotic, it does more damage, it's a monster, but this is a little mini version of it. In the total perk column, things like Grave Robber, Swashbuckler are gonna work well, but that main interaction of right hook with Swash, it's too good. And that's what I'm gonna end up recommending at the end, mostly, but there are some things that are intriguing. And there's one that I really wanna try, and I'm probably gonna craft it. In the third column, we have Triple Tap. After shooting with the increased target acquisition, there's no reason why this wouldn't be okay, but it isn't a first choice. If you get it on a random drop, get a melee final blow, get the increased target acquisition, see what it's all about landing those crits. Ensemble, not so much. Dynamic Sway, it's gonna be good, decent. Adding accuracy is never bad. After that sustained fire, 0.6 seconds, you get more accuracy, up to +10 stability. And hey, that's pretty much doubling the base stability. That's a win. Grave Robber, S tier with how this thing's built. Ambitious Assassin. I think it's S tier now on certain weapons like this one. If you can get in a fast reload, more damage, it just works out really, really well. The buff's very noticeable. It's got some overflow vibes to it. We have Encore. Here's the perk that I want for the Crucible. SMGs are spray weapons, especially these, with 11 base stability. You're always going for crits, but body shots happen, and body shot final blows happen. So at base, with the range band of this thing, it starts at 16.6 meters. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Say you add 10 range with accurized rounds. It goes to 17.9. You add on a range masterwork, it goes to 19.1. Add on hammer forged, it goes to 20.3. So what we can take away, adding range is a big deal on this thing. There's a lot of gain to be had from it. So with this perk Encore, and you also have the origin trait, adding range on that melee. When you add an Encore, you get plus 10 range on a headshot final blow. It's gonna be a win-win. But the body shot final, that's the interesting part to me. The base stability is 11, Encore body shot final blows is plus 30 stability, so it goes to 41. It's the only 750 RPM with Encore. So you're gonna be running around with 60 plus stability on a 750. That's unheard of. You could also go elemental capacitor in the other column to get it up to 80 plus if you're on Void. I want to talk about that more at the end. Pugilist, another great one. Again, melee, melee, melee. It just works out well. Getting kills grants melee energy, and dealing melee damage grants plus 25 handling. It's a win-win. Perfect synergy with the origin trait and the weapon. Now the fourth column, Focus Fury. Brutal. Good luck with that, even with the target acquisition. Elemental capacitor. Now, unless you want to tie yourself to Void, I would go elsewhere. The arc handling sounds good. It's going to get it to pretty much 100 handling, but with the trait, with the fragments, with amplified, it's going to kind of do the same, but you can just go absolute max with it. Wellspring, decent all-around perk, not the first choice. When you pair it, a great combination is with Pugilist. That way you're getting a little bit added to it, especially if you go enhanced. Well-rounded, decent all-around perk. It's going to be up to you. I would go elsewhere. Then we have Swashbuckler. We went over that, S tier for it. Headstone, it's always going to be good. Stasis or not. Of course, it helps Stasis subclasses the most. You're going to be landing crits. It's going to be build specific. Frenzy, it's never bad. Helps the reload, helps the handling. A flat 15% more damage. But I think the winner on these things, these CQC weapons, is going to be Swashbuckler. That's what I recommend, unless you are going build specific. We have things like Ambitious Assassin Swashbuckler, you've been seeing that. Pugilist Swashbuckler, Grave Robber Swashbuckler, and for the Crucible, Encore Swashbuckler. Let's go to the other side, talk about the barrel mag real quick. Now M&K, you can go full range, should be okay. I know that there are some players with these 750s and just SMGs in general that, even though that stability stat is low, 11, 12, a lot of players say it feels fine on M&K. Others are like, no, it needs a little bit. And controller players, mine has 26 stability. You've been seeing that mostly in the gameplay. I'm doing okay with it. The controller is going to benefit from stability. So ideally, for all around to bring the stats up, it has a good base recoil direction, just bad recoil. It says it right there on the frame. High damage, high recoil. So it would be small bore, stability masterwork, accurized rounds, getting the stability up while also improving that range to get out 16, 17, 18 meters. And that's mostly what you're going for with this thing with your barrel and mag, range and stability. I went through that basically every plus 10 range you add, you're getting a meter of drop-off distance. There's a ton of plus 10s in here on this thing. That's why I feel like Encore in the Crucible is so beneficial for it. More than double the base stability, adding plus 10 stacks on headshots, pretty much getting a meter every time you get a headshot is a big deal. And that's how I view it. A little mini Huckleberry. Very fun to play with. Now, specifically for the Crucible, everybody's been having different experiences. Most of my games are laggy, and if you can find a game where people are actually playing, not quitting, actually going in and doing some CQC work, play sessions where disjunction doesn't come up 7 out of 10 times, where players are 2 meters from the out of bounds marker in the back with a scout, sure, it can and it will do well. These have always been great. 0.67 TTK, 9 crit, 2 body. And with Swashbuckler, it jumps to 29 per crit, a 7 bullet kill for a 0.48. And that's one of those TTKs. It's one of those weapons that when you get it going, if it gets on you with a damage bonus, it's a melt machine. You're not gonna know what hit you. It plays so well because that origin trait with Swashbuckler on an SMG, it's very good. And when I am using this SMG, it will be using it with extra melee range or just a lunge range like Knockout, Ophidian, Deadly Reach. That's gonna be perfect for Blood Feud. And when it's set up with the right combination, I do think that it does have a place in loadouts. So I recommend watch your drops, see what it's all about. Like Ambitious Assassin Swashbuckler on the super upped arc, really fun. Melee origin trait with Swashbuckler is too good not to even try, man, it's so good. I personally like it, and I will be crafting one if the red borders fall. And honestly, since I do have this ambitious assassin Swashbuckler role, I'm probably going to get many other roles in between, so maybe I might get Swash Grave Robber at a later date. For my craft, again, controller player, I'm going to be going Encore Swashbuckler because I think that it could be a sleeper monster in the Crucible. My full role is going to be polygonal rifling, accurized round, stability masterwork, for 47 range, 31 stability, and with Encore, the potential 77 range, 61 stability. Just give it a look when they drop to you. You could end up really liking it, but I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Blood Feud down below, and what other seasonal weapons are you enjoying? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.